traumatized. Penelope, her flower shop thriving with her renewed focus, listened patiently, pruning a particularly vigorous bougainvillea. Eva, having just returned from a long shift at the hospital, sat on the sofa, methodically organizing Harry, the hamster's intricate burrow system, her calm presence a balm. Onope, the Penelope, as a masterpiece Penelope, a culinary ballet, Julianson declared, holding up a sketch. But Enzo, my dear assistant, is a serpent, a culinary viper waiting to strike. He will sabotage me, Mot just know it. My entire career hangs by the thinnest thread of overcooked pasta. On practical side. Julian, darling, you really do have a flair for the dramatic. But if Enzo is truly trying to undermine you, you need evidence. Something concrete. Not just your operatic suspicions. Looking up from Harry's burrow, offered Herr Periwinkle, Monsieur Periwinkle. A well-documented pattern of behavior is always more persuasive. Perhaps setting up some subtle surveillance. A hidden camera in the paprika shaker, perhaps? Or observing his personal touches in detail. Widened. Eva, you truly are a genius. A clandestine culinary detective. Yes, a strategically placed paprika shaker, indeed. Rory's hidden camera from the party, perhaps. When said, traumatize, Inez. Mot do not condone leave a periwinkle, Eva, stated blandly, but a thorough understanding of one's environment and its potential hazards is always prudent. Osnim Barnett, intuitively. Julian nodded. That who'd no amount of Enzo's subtle sabotage could derail it. A dish that screamed Julian Periwinkle, theatrical, inventive, and ultimately profoundly delicious. On that would finally, irrevocably, secure his place as the true chef of Lombardy. And perhaps, along the way, find a way to deal with Enzo's simmering resentment without resorting to excessive violence or further paint-related incidents. Hoped this was, after all, Coralton Bay, not a mafia movie. Or so he hoped. Honest. Sabotage in Saffron, costing 31. Revisit to Lombardy. Little Italy. Bistro dawned with an ominous marine layer, a thick, swirling fog that mirrored Julian Periwinkle's internal anxieties. Today was the day his culinary fate would be decided, with him Pipiles. He had spent the previous evening in a feverish frenzy, perfecting his Coralton Bay sea bass and papilote, with saffron-infused risotto and blushed fennel, a dish so delicate and complex it felt like a gastronomic tightrope walk. Biti noapent, nombi. Notorious viper. Sitting at her table, her pen poised, ready to write Lombardy's culinary obituary. Onembi, Julian arrived at sunrise, armed with his carefully guarded ingredients and a new, more sinister mission. He carried a small, innocent-looking paprika shaker, Antony Begani, but concealed within its base a miniature spy camera, discreetly acquired from Rory Stardust, as dubious collection of gadgets and thoroughly disinfected by Eva Reed. It was strategically positioned to capture any untoward personal touches Enzo might attempt. Offer Piditen, Yonplay. He meticulously prepped his mise, each herb chopped with surgical precision, each vegetable sliced with the grace of a master calligrapher. The saffron, vibrant and exotic, steeped gently in a rich, homemade fish fumet, guanabid. The aroma of delicate citrus and fresh seafood filled the usually bustling kitchen, now quiet with anticipation. Auntie traumatized. Enzo Marino arrived, unusually cheerful, humming a tuneless, jaunty ditty. He greeted Julian with an overly effusive smile, that did nothing to hide the malevolent glint in his eyes. Winching again. "Ah, Chef Periwinkle, preparing your special meal for the Viper. A grand feast, Mot I'm sure. Your delicate fingers so adept. May Mot offer my assistance. Undumatized. Hey fun. Thank you, Enzo. But Mort, have everything quite under control. Your unparalleled organizational skills would be better utilized preparing the espresso machine. Madame Crumb, Mort here, is quite particular about her post-meal beverages. You can be no ventais." Enzo festirfalt, but his eyes narrowed. He sauntered towards the prep station, his movements deliberately slow. Julian watched him like a hawk, his senses hyper-alert. O's hand, almost imperceptibly, hovered over a bowl of freshly grated Parmesan, a crucial component of Julian N.'s risotto. Julian S. heart pounded. Was this it? The insidious sprinkle of extra salt, a dash of his infamous Tabasco. Wanted, wording I fueled, hen albanijai. Just as Enzo wards the Parmesan, the swinging kitchen door burst open, and Signor Lombardi stormed in, a thundercloud on his face. Madame Crame's table is already seated. You dilly-dally like a drunken baboon. Periwinkle, how are the preparations? Ready to conquer the critics? Onumtili. Enzo, startled, quickly retreated to the espresso machine, muttering curses under his breath. Julian let out a silent sigh of relief. Averted, for now, whined Litai, but the day was far from over. Throughout the chaotic lunch service, Enzo seemed to lurk like a culinary shadow, always near, always with a subtly suspicious suggestion. He offered to help stir. Julian, risotto, almost dropping the spoon into the saffron infusion. Wad, endelistir. He accidentally knocked over a tray of blushed out fennel, though Julia managed to offer blushed fennel, juggler. Ad ashed of a seasoned juggler. Each interaction a delicate dance of deception and counter-deception, Julian trying to maintain his culinary masterpiece, while deflecting Enzo's covert assault to shaker. In the paprika, shaker. Julian hoped was silently documenting Enzo's subtle villainy, or traumatized, papillote. Papillote, perfectly baked and exuding an intoxicating aroma, were whisked out to Madame Crumb's table. Julian felt a surge of nervous triumph. The dishes looked spectacular, a visual and aromatic testament to his artistry. Unipas, peering anxiously through the small window, trying to catch a glimpse of the formidable critic, one in white ties. Ve Capite hat, a severe bun, and eyes that seemed to miss nothing, sat at a corner table, her pen poised over a notepad. Julian watched, his stomach clenching, as she took her first bite of the sea bass. Her expression was inscrutable, undepressedly, honestly, bazen. She sampled, risotto, her gaze unwavering. Julian held his breath, every fiber of his being tuned to her reaction. Honor, intoltized. Just as she reached for the fennel, Enzo, walking past with a tray of used dishes, accidentally tripped, sending a wave of greasy dishwater sloshing across Madame Crumb's pristine table, narrowly missing her delicate plate. He spluttered apologies, a picture of exaggerated clumsiness, traumatized. Madame Crumb's face, however, remained impassive. She simply dabbed her linen napkin at the mess, her eyes sweeping over Enzo with a look of chilling disdain. Plummeted. Disaster. All was lost. The Viper would surely unleash her fury now. All his efforts, all his culinary artistry, rendered meaningless by Enzo's clumsy revenge. Consinen. The verdict, and a very bad idea, Goning every question. He's the Coralton Bay Marine Layer, usually a sign of approaching coolness.